So I'd like to tell the story of when Squiggy and I had a really big argument. I think it's a pretty interesting story about how humans and animals can relate sometimes. I was coming home late from work and I wanted to make dinner. I was very, very hungry. And Squiggy was kind of wound up. She had some energy. And I started to make dinner. I was hangry, I suppose. And Squiggy was running around, and she jumped up on the kitchen table just when I had finished making my dinner, and I was about ready to eat. I said, "Hey, get away, get away, get away!" And she jumped on my plate, and the plate just on the edge, and the plate sort of lifted and spilled all over the ground, and all of my dinner was ruined. And so I got upset. I go, "Squiggy, get out of here!" And she sort of dashed down the hallway a little bit, and then she came back and I was like, "No, Squiggy, just get out of here. Just get out. I don't want to see you." And I stomped my foot and I was acting inappropriately. I was definitely angry. She dashed down the hallway and then she came back again and I was so upset. I was like, "No, Squiggy, darn it, get out of here." I picked up a half empty water bottle. I threw it towards her and it hit the wall and splashed all over. And she dashed out and she ran into the back room. And she ran into the back room and I remade my dinner, and it took some time. And the whole time I was remaking my dinner, she didn't come back, which was a little bit unusual. I mean, generally doesn't do what she's told. But I was really angry. I mean, I shouted really loud, and I threw that water bottle. And so I finished my dinner, and I was like, all right, where's Squiggy? Like, she's my best friend. Like, I live in this cave. It's basically, this is my kitchen. It's not a cave. It's modified traditional Maasai Manyata, and so it has, it's cave-like. It's very short, like my head's touching the ceiling right now. And so I thought, well, I better go see where Squiggy is. Now, Squiggy's not the kind of character animal that would come when called. That's not a thing. They definitely don't come when called. But she does this Marco Polo thing where if I say Squiggy, she goes squeak, squeak. And so I can always find her wherever she is in the house. She'll let me know where she is. She just doesn't want to come, unless she's interested. And so that's just her state of being. So I thought, oh, I should go find her. So I looked down the hall, and I knew she'd ran into the back room, and it was a little bit darker back then. So I went to look for her and came back here. This is Squiggy. Where are you? Squeak, squeak. I heard a little squeak. I came back, and this is the back room, and she was nowhere to be found. But I have this window here that has no window glass. It just has chicken wire and coffee wire to keep the animals and predators from coming in. But otherwise, during the day, I take down the sheet. So there's a little ledge back there. I could tell she was sitting back there. I go, "Squiggy, come on. It's all right, Squiggy." And I heard this innocent little squeak, squeak. Like, oh boy. So I grabbed the chair and placed the chair way in the back. I thought, you know what, I'll let her come on her terms if she's going to come. So I sat down in the chair, and I sat right here. And like every part of me wants to just go grab her, because I can grab her and just cuddle her and hold her tight, and apologize. Because when she ran away, she was definitely afraid. Like, I had never stomped and thrown things at her and raised my voice quite like that in a serious way. Like, I might shout at her at other times when things had gone badly, but I'd never done that before. So there was a tremendous amount of guilt, and I knew I needed to somehow apologize. But she also knew that she knew that she had done something wrong. Clearly, she knows breaking and spilling things and being on the kitchen table are things that are frowned upon. We lived together like a wild man and a wild animal for already a year at that point. I think she was about a year old. So to sit back in the chair and just wait for her was a little bit wasn't exactly what I wanted to do, but I thought, man, let's just see what happens if I just see how she's thinking. This sounds so ridiculous. It's an animal, but it's a great animal. So anyway, I said, "Squiggy, come on, it's okay." And I heard her go, "Squeak, squeak, squeak." I go, "No, it's all right. I'm sorry." And saw some motion behind the curtain. She jumped down. She looked at me from right there. I go, "It's all right, Squiggy. Come on, it's okay. come here. And she just goes, squeak, squeak, squeak. She made a few steps forward. She came right there and she stopped. She goes, squeak, squeak, squeak. And I go, it's all right, Squig. Come on, it's okay. And she walked up and squeak, squeak. It's okay. Squeak, squeak. And she looked at me with these little innocent eyes. And I go, it's all right, Squig. But I didn't make any motions. I didn't move. I go, come on, it's okay. And she jumped up onto my knee. She looked at me and she squeaked. I said, it's okay, Squig. I'm sorry. But I didn't move. I didn't touch her. My hand was on the armrest. And she jumped up on the armrest. Then from there, she got on my arm and she squeaked at me. And she went up to here and she did something she rarely does. She used to do it when she was little. She came up and she just licked me right in the cheek and goes, squeak, 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 squeak. And it was like this really special, like, reconciliation type of thing where, I mean, I'm obviously going to try to anthropomorphize, put human emotions on an animal or a thing. But to me, it was like this really interesting sort of behavior where an animal and I, both together, sort of had this fit of anger and then apology and reconciliation all like in one evening. And it was like a real, a very unique experience. I don't actually know if it's unique. I mean, honestly, anyone who owns Hyraxes, maybe all the Hyraxes act like that. Maybe that's a thing that's part of their behavior set. But for me, it just felt like a really special, unique moment. There was a few very special, unique moments, and she had been angry before. She's been mad at me. You know, there were 2 or 3 times where she will not come to bed at night. She'll sleep somewhere else because I could tell that she's been upset at me for a while. So that's weird and interesting. But I just wanted to tell you that interesting little story about how a human and a Hyrax can interact. And yeah, it's a really fond memory of the behavior of Squiggy and myself, Darren. So just thought I would tell you that. Thanks.